By the way, your book party, we were watching some images that we saw on Instagram last night.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, you guys support each other, you and Selena Gomez. I love that. She's like kissing your book. Like, this is really it. This is who you want next to you.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? I wake up every day and I look in the mirror and I'm like, how did this happen? But until anyone figures it out, whee!
Since the start of my relationship, my routine hasn't really changed. She wakes up and her skin is perfect every day. She doesn't even have to wash her face. I have to do all this stuff only to look like this. It's very hard.
The timing couldn't have been more electric. Just as clips of Justin Bieber's intimate Coachella warm-up performance in Los Angeles began circulating online, his voice raw, his presence stripped down, his song, Things You Do, dedicated to his wife Hailey, another headline surged into the spotlight, pulling attention in a completely different direction. Blanco, hitmaker, producer, and now author, had just released a deeply personal book with provocative and emotionally charged title, My Wife Selena Gomez is Better. It wasn't just a title that grabbed people. It was the story behind it, the timing, and the subtle but undeniable tension it seemed to stir across pop culture's most closely watched relationships. Blanco has never been one to shy away from bold statements, but this felt different. The book, released in early 2026, isn't just a collection of anecdotes or industry reflections. It's a declaration, a love letter, a defense, and, depending on how you read between the lines, perhaps even a response to years of public comparison, speculation, and emotional narratives tied to Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber's past. From the opening pages, Blanco sets a tone that is both intimate and unapologetic. He writes not as a producer behind the scenes, but as a man fully immersed in admiration for his partner. People always compare stories they were never part of, he notes in one chapter. But what we have, it's real, it's present, and it's ours. That sentiment echoes throughout the book, reinforcing the idea that this is less about competition and more about reclaiming a narrative. Justin Bieber's recent performance in Los Angeles was meant to be low-key, a private warm-up ahead of Coachella. Fans lucky enough to attend described it as vulnerable and intensely personal. When he performed Things You Do, reportedly dedicated to Hailey Bieber, the room reportedly fell silent. The lyrics, centered on loyalty, growth, and quiet devotion, felt like a window into a matured version of the artist the world grew up watching. Clips quickly went viral. Fans praised the sincerity, the stripped-down delivery, and emotional depth. For many, it marked a new chapter in Bieber's public image, one focused less on spectacle and more on substance. The contrast was impossible to ignore. Two men both deeply tied to Selena Gomez's story in different ways, expressing love and commitment to their respective partners, yet doing so in ways that sparked conversation, comparison, and inevitably debate. Social media lit up almost instantly. Some saw Blanco's book title as unnecessarily provocative, questioning whether it was meant to stir controversy or simply express devotion. Others defended it, arguing that in an era where public figures are constantly dissected, there's power in being direct, even if it invites criticism. What makes the situation particularly compelling is Selena Gomez herself. Over the years, she has evolved from a Disney Channel star into a multifaceted artist, entrepreneur, and advocate. Her personal life, often placed under a microscope, has been the subject of endless narratives, many of which she has had little control over. Blanco's book, in many ways, attempts to shift that control. He paints Selena not as a figure defined by past relationships or public perception, but as someone grounded, resilient, and deeply human. He shares stories of quiet moments, late-night conversations, shared laughter, and the kind of everyday intimacy that rarely makes headlines. She's not who people think she is. Blanco writes, she's better, not because she has to be, but because she chooses to grow every day. Meanwhile, Bieber's performance tells a different but equally compelling story. His dedication to Hailey, expressed through music rather than prose, reflects a journey of its own, one marked by growth, challenges, and a desire to move forward. There's no direct response, no public acknowledgement of Blanco's book, but the juxtaposition speaks volumes. It raises an interesting question. Why are these stories so often placed in opposition? Why does one expression of love have to be measured against another? The truth is they don't. But in the world of celebrity culture, where timelines overlap and histories intertwine. Comparison becomes almost inevitable. Blanco's book may carry a bold title, but at its core, it's less about proving something to the world and more about affirming something to himself. And to Selena, it's about choosing to celebrate what exists now, rather than being overshadowed by what came before. And Bieber performance? It's a reminder that growth doesn't always come with loud declarations. Sometimes, it's found in quiet stages, in stripped-down songs, in moments that feel real precisely because they aren't trying to compete. As fans continue to dissect lyrics, passages, and perceive subtext, one thing becomes clear. This isn't just about three individuals whose lives once intersected. It's about how stories evolve, how people move on, and how love, expressed in different ways, can still capture the world's attention. In the end, My Wife Selena Gomez is better maybe remembered not just for its headline-grabbing title, but for what it represents: a shift in narrative, a reclaiming of voice, and a reminder that behind every public story is a private truth that only those living it can fully understand. And as the music fades from that Los Angeles stage and the pages of Blanco's book continue to turn, the world watches, not for answers, but for the stories that come next.